fight fans to episode 33 of the Hooks in MMA podcast. We got a banger this week with one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year, if not of the decade, coming up this Saturday night. But first off, we got to introduce some guests. We've got an interesting one. First time we've had a head coach on the show, and so we're happy to announce Eric Nicksick is joining us. If you don't know that name, he was up for MMA Coach of the Year in 2020. He's famously known for being in the corner there of Francis Ngannou, Aljamain Sterling, as well as Joseph Benavidez. So certainly got lots of experience and great stories to share with us. So make sure to stay tuned in for that. And then secondly, we've got Livinha, the Brazilian Gangsta, Souza, fighting in the prelims coming up here. So make sure to cheer him on and maybe even throw a few pesos on him. We're going to be first getting into our hot headline news, just really touching on some funny things. And the main, I guess, highlight will be getting ahead of that book. We've got Easy Lines with a stacked card. If you missed it, not sure what planet you're living on, but we got 3 championship fights this weekend. So let's get right into things, Zoni. What's something funny you've heard over the last few weeks?
Well, we can definitely we can start this conversation off of, at what point does this world kind of, just stop going ass backwards? We got Dr. Seuss, 9 of the top 10 most popular Dr. Seuss books of all time. Like, there's been some issues. People are taking things way too seriously. You can't even joke anymore. But you know what? On Hooks and MMA, you can joke, and you can actually read jokes. So I'm going to read one right now just to start off. You guys obviously heard in the last bit, Kim Kardashian filed for divorce with Kanye West. Just had a nice comment here I wanted to read. So the Amazon River runs for thousands of miles. At some points, it runs through areas of the rainforest that are almost untouched and have been barely explored. Because of the porous limestone in these areas, the river water leaks through the stone and travels deep into the earth and forms underground pools almost a mile below the surface. Over thousands of years, small, blind, transparent fish have lived and evolved in these pools. These fish have never seen the sun or surface and have never been seen by the human eye. These fish care more about this than I do.
That's pretty
I was going to say, I thought that was like a science lesson for a second there. I was learning so much about fish, but then you turned it around on me.
But the fish that have never seen daylight in our life care more about this divorce than he does.
For any of our Curb fans, I thought it was a Marty Funkhauser where you're just going to say out of the blue, P.S. your cunt is in the sink.
No, it didn't top that. It didn't top that, but I thought it was pretty funny.
Who's up next? Josh? Siebes? What do you got?
I got nothing other than, in terms of MMA at least, JDS and Overeem getting cut there. That's pretty surprising. And, I guess it kind of makes sense, right? With Overeem Overeem is the most surprising, I think, out of the two. But at $800K, I think his show money is his contract. Just makes sense on the UFC in terms of the business end. He did not have a good performance against Volkov at all. So, surprising news. Definitely didn't expect it, but looking back at it, definitely makes sense. And with JDS, of course, I think even Zone, I think you called that one, right? In terms of him losing to Gane and then getting cut by UFC, right?
Yeah, and I said that because I can't even think of who it was that got cut, but one of those older guys that was making a lot and they ended up cutting. I mean, we all said we thought that there's going to be some more guys like this coming, and then after that Gane loss, JDS, you could see that coming from a mile away. But yeah, Overeem saying he had one final run, and then Derek Lewis actually calling him out, which made no sense because that's sort of a step back in rankings and whatever. He wanted to fight Overeem because of a legendary status type fight. Really weird to see the UFC not bring him back for that one more chance. But I do know Rizin has reached out to him, and I'm sure he's going to fight a few more times and make a few more buck and then call it a career. But yeah, it was tough to see him go.
Yeah, I don't know. UFC better be careful or they're going to get canceled, man. very insensitive old people to be firing all the old guys.
Ageism.
Yeah, clear ageism.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like we're talking a bit about work, what's going to happen to these guys, and I think the Risen is a pretty good prediction. JDS, on the other hand, he just might be done. There was kind of some ideas at work, like maybe he becomes an ambassador in Brazil for the UFC. You look at someone like GSP, right? He's doing the whole RDS thing in French there for Quebec. So maybe something similar happens. He becomes a commentator or just some sort of brand ambassador to grow the sport in South America.
I could 100% see that happening, but I'm going to throw out a little prediction. I don't know if it'll happen or if it will. So first of all, I do agree with that. Later on in like a couple of years, he could definitely be that person. He is that person. I say, and Philip Linz next weekend fights, he's 0-2 in the UFC. If he loses that, he'll be 0-3. I say they expand the PFL roster by 2 in the heavyweights, and they bring over JDS, and they bring over the $1 million previous heavyweight winner in PFL, Philip Linz. If he does lose next weekend, that's 3 in a row, like I said. Bring those 2 over, expand the heavyweight roster by 2. You're adding 2 former UFC fighters. You're having the guy that won the heavyweight title before defending it in PFL, and then you're bringing in a big name like JDS. So that's what I would like to see them do. We'll see what happens.
Or I guess there's always the bare knuckle fighting league if none of that works.
That's true.
So.
You can always fall back on that no matter who you are, right?
Or rough and rowdy.
Oh, yeah, go fight Canseco.
Yeah.
Oh,
GPS versus both of the BMFMs.
That would be awesome. Couple of midgets against JDS. Not bad.
Yeah. I think those fish in the Amazon probably cared more than Jake Paul calling out Canelo there. So I don't even want to go down that road because that's a bit crazy. But I will say Canelo looked fucking good on the weekend, and man alive, I wish Mayweather was still in his prime to see that rematch happen.
Man, they got to book GGG with him again.
Yeah,
they're putting
true.
All last 5 guys he fought have been punching bags. They plan on him, and he literally beats them into a pulp. It's crazy.
And he just rebooked for in the next couple months here. And again, it's somebody he'll smash within 8 rounds.
Yeah. Can of beans.
But he's smart because he's making a ton of money off these and crushing cans.
His own contract when they tried to screw him off the bat.
Yeah, he's cashing in.
Yeah, good for him.
Crazy head movement though, man.
Oh,
dang. Embarrasses guys. Like 15 punch combos, not a single one lands on him. Nuts.
Yeah. Well, we got one hell of a card this weekend, so why don't we start to break down that? Because the main card is just wild. It could have been 3 pay-per-views spread out over 3 months, it seems. But Z, I know you've been really taking a close eye. What are you feeling here, so we can all meet each other at the cashier?
Yeah, no, sounds good to me, and yeah, definitely an exciting weekend. But before we jump in there, I just want to quickly recap last week's pick, just to again keep transparent with our Easy Lines family here as well. You know, guys. Yeah, exactly. Big week. Kind of want to show it off a little bit as well. So hit that like button, comment below, say whatever you can. Let us know your picks because it really helps out the channel, guys. So yeah, we went 5-2 last week with Cyril Gane winning and the over 2.5 rounds as well, cashing in there for us. Our value pick of Krylov plus 700 decision was one of those losses there, but you know, our main pick for it to go to decision at plus 162. So did happen. So hopefully you jumped on that prop bet with us. And of course, Pedro putting on an impressive performance, proving that calf kick is unbeatable there. So going into this weekend, Easy Lines is at a career record of 105 wins, 67 losses, coming in at a 61% clip and looking to continue that success this weekend. And as we alluded to, what a weekend it is. This card is absolutely stacked from top to bottom. They're really adding a ton of depth in terms of these pay-per-view nights. So it's really, really nice to see. In the main event, we have an amazing matchup with the middleweight champion, Israel Adesanya, moving up a weight division here to take on the light heavyweight champ, Jan Blachowicz. Despite, moving up, Israel is the favorite here at minus 225. Jan's plus 187 as the underdog. Does make sense since Israel's, easily considered a top 5 type, top 3 striker, pound for pound in the UFC, in my opinion. This is why I will be taking Adesanya to win this fight. Although the line seems a little heavy on him, right? Still, in my belief, Jan absolutely has a chance to win this fight as well. Jan's main path to victory here, if he is to win, I believe, is through grappling, of course, right? Getting in close to use his great clinch work. Yes, Izzy is moving up, but he's still going to have the height and reach advantage here, and he uses it quite well. So Jan's going to have to get in close. With that, being the case, it's at the Apex Center as well, which is using a smaller octagon, which gives the advantage to the grappler and obviously limits the amount of space that Israel's going to have to move around and create those angles and position. He does so well with his footwork to get his strikes off, right? And that's really where the danger comes in. Jan has amazing power at 205 division, right? Imagine what he can do to a 185er. Israel's going to have to be very careful in here on Saturday, because if he gets caught, that the night's over and it's a walk-off. But we have seen him do matrix type stuff in their things already with faster guys, really, at middleweight. So you can't doubt that he can't do it on Saturday night either. He will not have he's not going to have the power to put Jan away early, I don't think, but his speed and world-class technical striking, I think, will create so many openings. He won't know what to do with him, begin to pick apart Jan, eventually getting a TKO finish in like the 3rd or 4th round. Jan is very strong, though, and if he's able to hold Izzy against the fence and control the grappling, Jan will be in for a short night of work as well. This leads me into my main pick of the night, which is the under. I'm really liking the under here, or at least my main pick of this fight. I'm really liking the under 3.5 rounds at minus 150. It's great to use in a 2 or 3 leg parlay here with some other things that we're going to talk about later. Also under 2.5 rounds plus 100, 1 or 2 units. Fight not to go to the distance, minus 250. Again, that's very safe, obviously. Use it in a parlay. I'd rather use that. I'd rather do that as opposed to going Izzy money line at minus 225. And here's why. And I can hear y'all right now, the Hookson family, in all due respect, Mr. Easy Line, sir, Jan has only been finished once in his career, and that was against a very hot Diego Santos. And at the time, Izzy, well, he's 20-0, undefeated, obviously never been in trouble other than the Gastelum fight. Well, my response to that is, remember Paulo Costa? He had never been finished ever before, and Izzy made a short work of him within 10 minutes, crushed him. Whitaker, never been finished at middleweight. Yes, he got finished by Wonder Boy, 170, Raw division. He moves up to middleweight, 8 fight win streak, crushes people. He meets Izzy one night, boom, he's done in 10 minutes as well. So we see new things in MMA all the time. We get surprised all the time, and I don't think this weekend's going to be any different. I have a very strong feeling this main event is going to provide some great action on the feet with that smaller cage. Izzy 3rd round finish plus 1,000 is my value prop pick on this fight as well. Here's another reason why I like the under in this situation. Currently, the over is 2.5 rounds at minus 138. Under 3.5 rounds is minus 150, as I already said. These are basically the same bets. So what's the difference between minus 138 and minus 150? Not that much in terms of the payout. What are you more comfortable doing watching the fight on Saturday? Are you more comfortable kind of praying that it gets past the 2.5 round, 2:30 mark in the 3rd round, or just waiting in anticipation for that finish to happen halfway through the 4th round, right? So now we're getting a whole extra round put on there. Personally, I'm in this matchup, I'm much more comfortable getting that, waiting for that finish to happen and getting that extra round there. So that's the way it is. If you disagree with me on Izzy, though, Blachowicz plus 275 is the way to go there, because I don't see him winning by decision. 2nd round finish plus 1,100. I'm going to be on there in terms of hedging, but obviously if you disagree with me and you like Blachowicz, get on there as well. Hardcore plus 1,100 looks good at 2nd round. But anyways, I'm done my spiel there. Zoni, what are you thinking?
I can't argue either way. I mean, Izzy should win this. He should be double champ. The thing I look at most is, Izzy stepping up, the weight difference. stylistic matchup nightmare for Israel, I would say, would be somebody like John Jones, just because of athleticism and what he's done in the sport. Blachowicz, he has the power, but he's just not an athlete like Israel is, like legit. Israel's moving up, which means he'll have even more speed, and he already doesn't get hit at middleweight. I don't see how he puts himself in the position to get hit by Blachowicz. I really don't. Not at 220 pounds against 193 on fight day. I just don't see it happening, and I think Izzy wins. But in terms of betting, I'm locked in on easy locks.
Yeah, I'm good with that as well, Izzy. But I do have to say, I think, or Easy, not Izzy.
Just call him Izzy Lines.
Yeah, just call me Izzy Lines from now
Undefeated.
on. I wish.
Yeah, but if he does go up and he wins this, of all the champs, I think this one is the most impressive. Not because I think Jan is the greatest 205 champ ever, but that gap of 20 pounds is huge.
Yeah.
Like everybody else has been going up 10, and then even DC, when he went up to heavyweight, he was bigger than Stipe, so he didn't even really go up a weight class. I don't feel with that when your walk around weight is more than his. So I think that'll be a crazy thing if he manages to accomplish that.
Until John Jones beats Francis.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Wow, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But here's the thing, Zoni. But I don't know. Do you agree with me that Izzy's going to be able to finish this though? Like,
you definitely can.
Here's the thing.
So
yeah, because
fast.
Blachowicz, exactly. That's the thing, right? Because obviously Blachowicz he's got a fucking thick ass skull and he's 205er, so it's going to be hard, or it's going to be difficult for him to put him away, like like a Whitaker style thing, right? Like what he did to Whitaker. But yes, like if he, like as you said, if he's able to outspeed him and like basically not get hit. He's going to have a field day in there pretty quickly, right? And by the third round, it's going to start to get ugly, I think, potentially.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Israel's a big enough guy. Like, he's a pretty big guy still. Like, if he hits anybody in the world clean, he's going to put them down.
And that's the thing. He doesn't have like Blachowicz Polish power. He has precision and timing, just like Connor. Like, it's just on the button and it's timed, and that force that it's coming in with is just as deadly than just pure power and landing that one shot, right? So
yeah. It's interesting, right? Like the matchup and the difference between
it's awesome.
the two.
It's a great match.
Just something I think working against Izzy is historically guys coming up from middleweight to light heavy, they haven't fared too well. And it's different than lightweight to welter or one of those things. So that I think is what's going for Jan here. One thing, recency bias, of course, but his kicks from the last fight were just the heaviest things. Like, you could hear it on the TV. That it was like chopping wood.
Yeah, destroyed him.
If he just lands a couple of those on Izzy, like Izzy's frame is not like built for
not
that.
Big.
Yeah. So like, I think that's the key for Jan. I was watching GSP's kind of breakdown, and he was saying Jan wins in a chaos riddled fight where these wild exchanges, and you look at some of Jan's finishes, that's how he gets the knockout. He's got these crazy little counters or little hooks, he just catches you. And so I think that's the key to Jan winning, but that's the key also for Izzy to win, is to avoid those chaos moments. So super interesting. I'm biased. I want
something to add to that.
It'd be good.
So you're talking about like the middleweights going up and having a rough time. One middleweight I can remember that had the most insane performance ever, Anderson Silva against Forrest Griffin. Yeah. And that's about the skill gap that I feel that there is in this fight between.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
That's pretty good. Comparable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that's because there's almost an asterisk beside Izzy, right? With just how good he is and how, just again, his matrix type style in there with his dodging of strikes.
There's just something special about him. There's just something special. Like, it's.
Yeah.
But here's the one thing about his style, though, like, is that it's very dependent on speed and reaction timing. Those are the first two things to go in a guy, right? The power is the last thing to go. Speed is the first thing to go. So once that starts to drop off, he's gonna get in trouble really quick. I don't think that's now. I'm not saying that's now. He's 31 years old, but I'm just saying in 3 to 4 years, look out for someone to run over him. But for now, exactly, he's a very special fighter, and that's the reason why I'm taking him in this, despite the 205ers moving up, right? Like, how many times, over under on how many times they're going to show Luke Rockhold getting knocked out crazy by Jan Blachowicz, right? When his head's just knocking around like that, right? And he's looking up on. But anyway, so they're going to show that about 4 times, 3.5 times.
I'm sorry, just quickly before you.
I got an easy line pick on that one. It's more of a prop bet. I didn't see it on Bet365, but I'm going to be going Jan by rope from the Warsaw Forest in round 2.
Yes. That rope, that's one of the craziest stories I've ever seen in my life.
And how the first
take,
me. All the audio was like distorted. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Is that real?
That's awesome.
And how did someone find that out? How did someone find out Suicide Rope was like lucky? How could someone actually?
The police told them. The police told them.
But I mean, like originally, like in 1800s, you know what I mean? Like, how did those people like originally just be like, let's try it out, right? So like, Jan knew nothing about it, right? Then he Googled it after and everything. He was
Someone
like,
must have done it. Then they found this buried treasure chest full of gold, and they're like, "Oh, see, it helps you."
Well, that is actually the story on Wikipedia. I think it might even be is that one guy won a lottery in France. He won 1,000 francs, and with that rope. So then people just started believing it.
All the gamblers started buying it and stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
Fucked up, man.
I was
so mad.
I was just gonna add on there because you said Rockhold. The guy's delusional. Said he's expecting a summer fight against the winner of Santos and Rakic. Give me a break, bud. You're way behind the weight ball. Yeah, it's a death wish, but that's like Song Yadong calling out Cejudo after this weekend. Like, give me a break, man. Like, the guy, he's been getting killed. I think he's 1-3 in his last 4, and he wants the #1 contender next. Give me a break.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I heard him. He said that he wanted Till. I heard that.
Well, even crazier,
or maybe he said Till Vittori.
Yeah, he said Till Vittori.
Well, same thing.
Yeah, maybe it was Till Vittori, but very similar.
Yeah, no, it's the same.
If Vittori wins, he could get a middleweight title shot, right? So,
but yeah, jumping back into easy lines here. Coming up next, we got the co-main event.
Sorry, just hate Rockhold.
No, it's fine. No, it's a good.
I think we all
like it. That's
unanimous.
Exactly. That's why everyone. That's why they love, and the UFC hates him as well. That's why they keep showing that
hate
shit.
him.
They're gonna do it. That's their favorite one to show. It looks like Luke. No one looks better getting knocked out than Luke Rockhold. He looks like
love it.
He makes every time he gets knocked out, he makes the other person look amazing.
He thinks he's so cocky. He thinks he's so good. Then he gets
just leaves his chin out there.
Yep.
He leaves his chin out there every time. But anyways, okay. So coming up, co-main event, we got the women's featherweight championship fight between Amanda Nunes and Megan Anderson, I believe is how she says it.
And
Megan
the line
Anderson
has dropped significantly.
Yeah, it used to be minus 1,200, but it's still a whopping minus 1,000. Megan is still, huge underdog at plus 600. Even though those odds seem a little ridiculous for a professional fight, they aren't too far off, in my opinion. Which is why this analysis is going to be much shorter than the main event. But of course, I'm picking Nunes here. I'm taking her by pretty much by whatever she wants, whenever she feels like it, kinda. The only advantage Megan has in any way is her size. She's going to be the biggest girl Amanda's ever faced, with the longest reach as well. So that's going to, prove to be a challenge for her, I think, in the first round, at least a little bit feeling that out. Megan's a true featherweight with power. Again, first one that I think Amanda has gone up against, but she's going to have a large speed advantage, right? So, and she's aware of that power danger. So I think she'll be able to find those holes fairly quickly and look to end the fight fairly early on, TKO finish. There's not much to say. Nunes is the best women's fighter of all time, in my opinion, and she'll continue that success this weekend. Nunes by finish is a minus 334, which is laughable. Absolutely no value there. Amanda's second round finish plus 300 is what I'll be on Saturday. I think she'll take her time a little bit and look for those openings. and be a little bit wary of Megan's power and size there. Once she has the timing and speed down, she'll look to open up her striking and finish quickly. Under 2.5 rounds at minus 225, I think is good as well, the parlay. I expect Amanda to win early, but if somehow, some crazy way Megan, pulls off a win, it's going to be like a first round KO or second round something. So I think that under minus 225 is good to parlay with some other things. But yeah, what are you guys thinking?
I was actually hoping you wouldn't mention the under 2.5 because that's where I was leaning. I absolutely love that. I was thinking about it today, daydreaming about under 2.5 rounds in that fight, and I've never been happier inside my own head. Yeah, so what I was going to say too is if Megan Anderson wins this and Casey Kenny somehow beats Dominic Cruz, they have to make that matchup in a catch weight at 140. He said some shit about her. She's actually not that bad looking. She's got the long limbs. She's Australian. She's got the accident. She's got a lot of stuff going for her. And I might be sprinkling a couple of dollars on a Megan Anderson money line. But that's only after I secure a few earlier in the night. The under 2.5 rounds, minus 225, that's what I'm on. I might put a few bucks just on a big upset because I think her body poses an issue. Nunes should still win. Good luck.
Yeah, I was thinking at first that the size would play a big factor in the strength, but Holly Holm did an interview recently and she said that she felt that Amanda was stronger than Megan.
Yeah.
Fought both, like physically stronger. So
Amanda's a thick woman. Amanda's like, you look at her and she is a muscular woman. Like she looks like pretty, she looks like she has a lot of muscle for a woman, I feel like. So I don't doubt that at all. And when she gets in there, she's mean. Like she's one of the meanest girls in there as well, right? She looks to finish. She doesn't, once she's one of the few women that when, like, at least at this point, right, that when she smells blood, she kills them. Right now, she didn't find that as much against Felicia Spencer. Spencer was excellent grappler, and that proved to be a challenge, and that's why that fight went to decision. But I don't think that's going to happen here. She's going to look much smaller than her. It's well, not much, but she's going to look smaller. But once she gets in there and starts using her speed and her footwork and her technical boxing, it's not going to matter, right? It's just going to look like just make her, and Megan's face is just going to be all over the place, right? So it's going to be, well, yeah, like I said, that's what I expect. But Megan has that power. But the two girls that she fought before her are nobodies compared to Nunes, right?
So,
I could even see them if Nunes gets the win tonight. She's already said she's okay if the UFC shuts down the 145 division. I could see them cutting it after this. There's literally nobody else for her to fight after this.
It seemed like that with the press conference today. Dana kind of unofficially, he alluded to it.
Yeah, it makes sense. There's just not enough, there's not enough bigger women at this point, right? I think evolutionary and everything, I think maybe we'll get there and there'll be some bigger, more muscular layers, like kind of 10, 15 years down the line or something. But at this point, I think the 135 division's pretty solid for them for right now, right? And
they just have to sign some more fighters at that weight class, or just get rid of it. Like Megan Anderson, she has a lot of like motivation with this. If she loses, which she's expected to, they cut the division. She's got to go somewhere else, right? Get paid less. I don't think she's making 135. Yeah, she'd have to go to Bellator. So
either that or to PFL to give somebody to Kayla Harrison.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Or in the wise words of Easy Lines, why don't you just smoke a bowl and put a half a unit?
And love your life.
Anderson and just love life.
Oh, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna easy live it up.
Well, that's the thing. Actually, what I would say zone. I mean, I don't know if you agree with this, but instead of doing Megan a money line, you might as well do finish, right? Because her money line's plus 600. Her by finish is plus 1,000. I don't really see her winning the decision.
All right,
here, right?
Well,
so
thank you for telling me and making me more money.
Exactly. There you go. So just you might as well just do
Derek
that.
Lewis not going to win by decision.
Yeah,
gonna
exactly.
knock him out if he wins, right?
Only when he
So,
fights Francis. That's all.
Yeah.
That's the reason why Lewis wanted to fight over him. I think he just wanted another 3-round fight, another paycheck that he could just do a second or third
Yeah.
round, kind of wait for that knock. He doesn't want to
Hates
fight.
5-rounders.
Hates 5-rounders. Doesn't want to fight like a top 3 guy. He's like, no, I want to stand and bang with like a middle of the road guy and get paid $200K to do it. Boom. That's what he likes, right?
Pretty smart.
Yeah. Oh,
With
yeah.
our
Well,
last 5 minutes or so, we should touch on Jan Sterling and then stacked
Couple
undercard,
values.
right?
yeah. Okay. Here, I'll jump quickly into the Jan, so I'm not going to go too far into it, I guess. But basically, excellent matchup, right? Very close, just displayed by the odds. Obviously, it's a pick'em fight. Both fighters at -110. Again, it's the bantamweight division championship. Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling. Extremely hard fight to call. I can't fault for anyone choosing either side on this one. I'm going to go with Peter Yan, though, and to win this one. I believe my fellow Hookson constituents here will be taking Sterling on the other end, and they'll tell you their story in a minute. But basically, the moral of the story here is that Jan has excellent pressure. He's going to put a lot of pressure on Sterling, get him into his medium boxing range and land his power punches. That's what he likes to do. Sterling won't be able to get it off his kicks that he loves to do, or he's very good at. He's obviously has the advantage on the grappling. I don't think he's going to get Jan to the ground. I don't believe, he's not going to be able to have the advantages in those grappling exchanges. I don't believe, and Jan's going to be able to stay away, kick his legs, land those body punches, power punches, and win the fight. I believe TKO in the third or fourth round. I also like, what I really like in this fight, the over 2.5 rounds, -163. Parlay that with some things we said earlier. Value prop, as I said, Yan fourth round finish plus 2,500. But why are you feeling Aljo there, guys?
Athleticism. That's my whole reasoning behind it. He's so fast, man. So explosive, so creative too.
Yeah.
I like your over 2.5 rounds, though. I do like that.
As good as Peter Yan is, he hasn't fought anybody that's dynamic in any way. Like Aljo comes at you from everything. You have to be on the defense for takedowns, random back takes. His striking's unreal. Like everybody that Jan's faced to date has been fairly one-dimensional, or you got Faber, who's got okay boxing and the occasional takedown.
And Faber was 39. Aldo was out of his prime, and the Jimmy Rivera win, that's probably his best win. He's mostly, and at that point, he was mostly a wrestler. He has developed the hands pretty well, as he showcased, not against Pedro Munoz because of the leg kicks, but against Cody Stamen the fight before. His hands were good. But I mean, Jimmy Rivera doesn't pose as many issues like you said, Josh. Like he's not the athlete Aljo is. So I don't know. Obviously, Jan could win how you said. He could pressure him and put him up against the fence. He could grind him away, eat at the body, all that kind of stuff. I just think all those, like we were talking, like better athlete, I think he can elude that. He could literally run around the cage, sidestep, all that kind of stuff. Like I think he will.
Yeah, and the smaller cage is the advantage to the grappler, as I already said earlier, right? So it's a tough fight to go. I mean, I think Jan's performance against Jose Aldo was, I'm valuing that a little bit more than you guys are. I guess it seems like that's kind of where the difference is there. But yeah, it could go either way. I will not be surprised if Sterling gets him in chokes him out in the end of the third round or something, right? So, but again, that's the reason why we're going for the over here. I think the over is the consensus bet there. Hey guys, easy lines, my specialty, the over-unders, guys. Get on those. Just get on it right now. Listen to those ones at the very least. But that's it for me in terms of my major analysis here. I know Zone's got a few other value things to jump on there. So Zone, you get into your picks.
Yeah, I'll throw them in really quick because we only have a minute and a half left here. Kyler Phillips is fighting Song Yadong. Song's still, I think, only 23. He's got a lot of upside. I think this is going to be an absolute barn burner fight of the night. Something crazy happens, and I think Kyler's the one to land it. He does a lot of spinning attacks, athletic stuff. So I got him by money line at the very least. You could maybe get him as a finish. I think that could happen. Askarov, Benavidez, his time's over. I think he's on a bit of a decline. I love the guy, absolutely love him. Askarov by money line.
sorry to jump in there, Zone, one quickly. Benavidez, I took a look at this and said, oh, I thought I saw Benavidez get murdered twice last year. He's still fighting right now. So yeah, no, I love that Askarov pick. I think that's a great one.
That's
like
just
that.
money line, and then I like Kai Kara France to bounce back money line as well. He's fighting Rogerio Bontorin, who's been out for a long time. I think there'll be a bit of ring rust. Go ahead.
Love it. No, yeah, that's it for me pretty much, other than Santos Rakic. Guys, the under there looks pretty good as well. Or at least, again, not to go to decision, -188. Parlay that with some other things. I think that's great as well. Other than that, that's it for easy lines.
Yeah, I would say Rakic was going to be my pick, actually. I just was really impressed with his win over Smith. And honestly, those kicks are just devastating. Looks like he's a professional soccer player or something. I don't know. For a big boy, those are some crazy, crazy kicks. So
Good luck.
Let's,
Good luck.
Let's get it, boys. See you.
Next up on the Hooks In MMA podcast, we're really lucky to have on today 2020, MMA Coach of the Year. He's head coach at Extreme Couture, and notable fighters. We'll talk about that, but just a legend in the sport, and happy to have him on today. Eric Nicksick, how's it going today?
Doing well, Matt. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it. So yeah, you just had sparring day, herding kittens. What's going on at the gym recently, and how's everybody looking the last few weeks?
The momentum of the gym's been great, man. Everybody's gearing up for the title fights with Aljo and Francis in March. Joe Benavidez has a big fight as well. Maki Pitolo came off with a great showing last week. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get the dub, but we showed much improvement, and it was an exciting fight. So, after Fight Island, all the boys went 3-0, started the year off strong. So, right now all the momentum's kind of swinging our way, which is nice. But at the same time, the hard work still needs to be done, and these guys are all focused and dialed in.
Yeah, so I'll get to some more personal stuff, but just you mentioned Maki Pitolo. I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and feeling good going into that, and obviously watching that. I think it was definitely 2-1 going into the judges, but that last I think was the last minute or last couple minutes there. Can you describe kind of what happened there? Just I'm sure you've seen it before, but just without obviously him not getting the decision he wanted, what kind of happened there at the end?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of just fight IQ and situational understanding for all of us, and I look back at that personally and try to hold accountability for myself as a coach. Obviously I knew Julian was going to be hunting for that choke. I wanted to make sure that we didn't put our neck in jeopardy in any positions. But there was a spot there towards the end. I think Maki ended up getting mount where, I should have been more adamant about him just staying on top and just cooking the clock and not needing really anything. All you have to do is ride that time, and he started to fall off a little bit. Julian was giving his backup, which is kind of fool's gold. He was giving his backup to try to create a scramble, and give his neck up. Well, when you started giving the neck up, you start attacking and trying to get to choke, but he didn't have the top side hook in, which ultimately ended up getting him reversed. And then the kind of the sequence to the end for him there was the scramble, and then Maki with the failed shot, and then exposing his neck. So, credit to Julian and his team, man. They did the right thing. They had his guy prepared all the way from bell to bell. We did the same thing, but unfortunately, that's the fight game is a fickle bitch, man. It'll jump up and bite you sometimes. So. But looking back at it, man, that one's going to kick me, man. I take immense pride in fight IQ and situationals, and that one falls on me as the head coach. So I just got to be better next time.
Yeah, and there's nothing better than a description like that from a great coach, where you can, you're not pinning it on yourself, but you go back and you look at it, and it's something to improve on, not just for the fighter, but for the IQ and for the the sequence of events, the way that it ended. But I thought his game plan was fantastic. I definitely didn't see him standing up, or trying to take him down. I saw him standing up and banging it out, but that's kind of hurt him in fights past. So I really liked the game plan, and it worked almost perfectly. But
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so congrats to that. But you get the next one. So just talk about growing up. Your hobbies, where did you grow up, and what kind of stuff did you get into? And then eventually what got you ultimately into MMA?
Yeah, I'm born and raised here in Vegas. So is my mom. So I've come from a long Vegas roots. I was a football player here. Ended up going out to play college ball, and then came back home after and started pursuing a career in the fire department. Went into paramedic school. Got hired by two different departments out here in North Las Vegas and City. And at the same time, I was training over here with Randy. He just opened his gym. He had just about to fight Tim Sylvia. So we were, that's when he ends up winning the heavyweight belt. So there's a lot of momentum riding through the gym. I didn't know really a whole lot about MMA at all, other than, I just wanted to kind of be around a team and, kind of broaden my horizons a little bit and continue being an athlete, staying in shape. And then all the while, man, like just the hard work and trying to be here, kind of turned into a career for me before I knew it. I was offered the gym manager role. I started coaching more fighters here, and then, man, it just kind of fell in my lap, to be quite honest with you. And, I pinch myself every day. I'm thankful that, I understand the gravity of what I'm able to do, and I get paid to do it. So I'm super stoked to be here. That's for sure.
No, and you worked your way up, and there's no reason why you shouldn't have been given that opportunity based on your track record. So just talk about the day-to-day at Extreme Couture, like your role. Obviously you're a coach, but who do you deal with day-to-day? What does a day look like for you?
Usually my mornings are pretty jam-packed. I usually get my private sessions in the morning. That's usually consistent of, my guys that have fights, or, like Jeremy Kennedy and I, we stay pretty consistent for the week. Myself, Dan Ige, Francis, no matter if they're in camp or not, we're still doing something skill building wise. And then my guys that are in camp that have fights, there's a 1 day or 2 days a week that we're doing something skill-based oriented for the mornings. And then I'll usually jump in the office and do my office work before pro practice. So from like noon to 3, I'm doing stuff in the office, and then I'm back out here for pro, and then wind up the night. So yeah, it's a pretty hectic day. Days get busy, but I couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, I've chatted with Jeremy in the past, and I'm a fellow Canadian. I just live a little south of Toronto here, and honestly, like being unbiased, like around the world, like if you just look at his record, you're like, yeah, that guy's pretty good, but isn't he pretty damn good? Like this guy is like, I would say severely underrated. Yeah, he signed with Bellator. For whatever reason, it didn't work out with the UFC, but he's easily a UFC caliber guy. I would even say arguably he could be a top 10 in the UFC, maybe even top 5 eventually. What do you think about him as a guy and as a fighter, like high IQ?
Man, the kid's an absolute stud. And I think you're absolutely right. He doesn't get the recognition and credit that he deserves. His one loss in the UFC is to the current champion, and then he goes over to PFL and loses a day notice fight. We ended up making weight. Our opponent for PFL doesn't make weight. They shuffle the card up, and no excuses there, right? I mean, it's just a change of events that happen. The guy ends up testing positive. He ends up knocking us out. We end up getting the redemption in the playoffs, and then unfortunately loses to Daniel Pineda in the finals. So
who also tested positive.
who also tested positive. So, you're looking at a guy in Jeremy Kennedy that I think all around from the feet to the floor is one of the most complete fighters that I've been around. His fight IQ is exceptional. He fits our ideology here at Extreme Couture and the way we like to fight, the way we like to break guys down and beat the living shit out of people. He enjoys that. And I like that kind of attitude and grind where, yes, it's always nice to knock somebody out and get them out of there early. But I especially like being able to beat somebody up for 14 minutes and 59 seconds and then take them away.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Very impressed by him, and I haven't heard a fight announcement. I was bugging him to see who he's fighting next, but we'll see.
We got
soon.
something in the works. I already know. Yeah, I already know. We got something in the works, so we're doing good. He should be hopefully fighting in April, so he should be back at it.
That sounds good. Looking forward to some of those Bellator cards coming up. So I just wanted to ask quickly, I read, I don't know much about it, but you have, a wife and 3 kids, I believe.
Yeah. Married my high school sweetheart. We've been together for a long time, man. She's put up with a lot of shit out of me.
Yeah. So my question was just with 3 kids, I have one of my own, but just how do you manage a schedule, like having a guy like Francis and Dan Ige and Jeremy Kennedy, all these guys in Extreme Couture running that? How do you figure that all out?
It's tough. And the best analogy that I like to give is every facet of your life is a bucket, and all of them need water. and you only have a certain amount of water, right? That's your time throughout the day. So you want to try to make sure that you drop enough water in each bucket. Everybody's getting what they deserve. The nice thing for my family is that they're huge fans of the sport. And, it's important for me to have that connection with my fighters and my family, mainly because my family needs to understand who gets my time if it's not them. So it's nice having them over for dinner. They become part of the family. Everybody's in tune with what's going on. So that's kind of important. And so, if I'm not home, if I'm doing something with Francis or I have to travel, they're not so upset when they know that's like, all right, it's for Francis or it's for Dan or, it's for Paul Felder or whoever, like guys that they really care about. So that's kind of an important part of that process is being a coach is keeping those guys around and around the family as well. So they know who they are.
Yeah. So essentially, instead of your tight knit 5, you have an extended family, and they understand that extended part, right? It's part of your job. And
very much so. Yeah. Very important. Francis, because of COVID, that was a unique situation. It was just me and him in the gym training for really all during COVID. We knew he had a fight lined up. We just didn't know when. We kept getting pushed back and kind of rescheduled or this and that. So, I felt awful. This poor guy sitting at home by himself on a daily, but meanwhile, him and I were training every day in the gym. So I approached my family and just said, hey, look, what do you guys think about having Francis over for dinner a couple times a week, just so he keeps his sanity and he's around some family and some love. And all of them were like overjoyed to have him because we were all like just stuck in this house, So, and then that's really for me, I just feel like Francis became part of the family. The kids love him to death. My wife loves him to death. He's an amazing human being, as most of you guys have been seeing as of late, especially with the Joe Rogan show and everything, kind of hearing his story. So, it's good, man, having those guys in the home.
Yeah, I've listened to a quarter of that, but I'm looking to hear the rest of that. Just a mentor or somebody that's been an inspiration for you, either that got you into this sport or just somebody that's been, everybody needs that voice that they can hear to inspire and check in with if things aren't going well. Somebody for you that you can check off for that.
Yeah, for sure, man. And there's quite a few, obviously the guys in the house, Ray Sefo, Dennis Davis, those guys are always going to be very close to me, but outside of the realm, which I think is always nice that people don't really know that side of Henry Hooft. He's been like a big brother to me. Trevor Whitman's been a very good inspiration for me, guys that I can reach out to, but definitely Randy. I'd say Randy Couture. He's a guy that I can call upon, and I think he's still got the sharpest game, fight IQ, and that he's ever done or has ever done it. So it's nice to have him as a luxury for me to be able to pick up the phone and talk to the boss and, pick his brain or vent or just talk to about whatever. Randy's been a great influence for me.
And how is he doing? Is he doing all right?
Yeah, he's doing well, man. He's actually working on a movie right now. He was in town last week. He helps me out with Francis with some stuff. Just kind of go over some little P's and Q's things with Francis, and then he'll jump in and kind of help out. But he's a resource, man. And having him in the gym, he'll show you one little thing, one little detail. It might just be the dumbest thing ever. Like, oh, turn your foot this way or do this one little detail. And it's like absolute gold and it will change your game. So having Randy around and having Ev as a resource is so important for me.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, besides the coaching and the lead up and during the fight, obviously you're, in the corner and just speaking your voice throughout the fight. Afterwards, what do you like to do to just get these guys or girls just, to celebrate? Is it grabbing food? Is it, what do you guys like to do afterwards just to kind of let the load off for even a day or something?
Yeah. It just kind of depends on the fighter, but for the most part, we're all pretty chill. None of us are really heavy drinkers or partiers or anything like that. So, for us as parents, you know how it gets, man. You don't really have the luxury of being hungover at any point. So, but I'll have a few drinks here and there with the guys after a fight, maybe, or hang out and shoot it up. But like most of the time, we're on the next flight out. They're like, all right, get the hell out of here. And if it's in Vegas, when Maki fought, it was all right, got to go home. So, for me, I don't really get much, and it's turn the page. We're on to the next fight.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll probably ask you a question at the end, but between rounds is our last segment. I'm going to ask you a question. Just give me your best answer. Okay.
Sure.
What's your favorite kind of food to eat?
Man, I would say if I had to pick, I would say Thai food.
Thai food's good.
Yeah.
Favorite sport other than MMA?
Definitely football.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite team?
I'm a college guy, so Florida State Seminoles. Rough year.
Okay.
Rough
Yeah,
couple years.
rough couple years.
Rough couple years.
I'm a Bucks fan, and it's not just because of last week, but
Yeah.
we had Jameis for 5 years, and
Yeah.
I love the guy. Just couldn't figure out the turnover part.
Yeah. I used to love Tampa Bay too, and they had the old school guys though, Warwick and Dunn.
Derek Brooks, legends.
Derek Brooks, yeah.
Football's probably my second favorite as well. Favorite getaway spot in Vegas. If you've never been there, like myself, can't believe I haven't been there. Where are you telling me to go?
I'm a big fan of like kind of the smaller local casinos. Like I like Green Valley Ranch. I like Red Rock Casino. But downtown's nice too. They have a lot of little hidden gems down there. Really, really good restaurants. And then like if you're with Joe Benavidez, you're probably going down Spring Mountain at some point and hitting like Chinatown. They have some of the best food you're gonna like. Joe will take you like on a tour just down Spring Mountain of some of the best cuisine you're gonna find. Like Joe's all about Spring Mountain Road. So yeah, there's a lot of good little gems out here.
Yeah, big fan of his and excited for that next fight coming up here. Favorite country in the world other than the States?
God, that's a good question. I enjoyed Montreal. I thought Montreal was a beautiful city. I enjoyed Tel Aviv. That was beautiful as well. Australia was awesome. But I'm gonna say Fiji, man. I went to Fiji for my honeymoon, and that's the one place I'd love to be able to go back to again. It was beautiful, as you can imagine.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. I'm a big rugby fan. I played in university, and Fijians are known for their sevens rugby. So it looks like a gorgeous place to get to. So hopefully one day. Favorite kind of music?
Depends on the mood. But I'm like an oldies guy, man. I listen to a lot of Motown. I listen to like a lot of soul music. Right now I think I probably have Al Green playing or something like that. But I think I was listening to Al Green earlier today. But I like 80s music. I like and then Run the Jewels is my rap guys I go to quite a bit. Not much on the country, not much on the hard rock stuff. I listen to classic rock, but I'd say just mostly the oldies.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Back in the day, partying on Wednesday nights, Motown night, that I couldn't.
Yes, I like it.
Couldn't forget it. Favorite movie of all time?
Ooh, man, I just watched Man on Fire again. That was one of my favorites with Denzel. I know that's a remake. Snatch has always been one of my favorites. I always liked that movie. But man, I gotta say Man on Fire. I love that movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
A couple fights here. Might be biased in a couple of them. I'm not sure, but Miocic or Ngannou too.
Oh yeah, well Francis, of course.
Yeah. Jan or Adesanya?
I gotta go with Izzy.
Ortega or Volkanovski?
Volkanovski.
Jan or Sterling?
Aljo, it's my boy.
Yeah, he gets him on the ground or what?
Yeah, I think Aljo's from the feet to the floor, man. He can do it all. I'm blown away by this kid, man. He's been amazing to have out here and watching him go. So it's been fun.
Yeah, and what he did against Sandhagen, and see what Sandhagen did his last two is unbelievable.
I'll tell you what, he's a problem.
He's a problem. Yeah. So just a last little question here. Just curious, moving forward, a couple names in your gym to watch out for.
Great question, man. I think there's a lot of really good guys in the gym, some really good up and comers. So I got a young kid, homegrown talent. His name's Juan Camilo. He fights at 125. We're looking to try to get him in the LFA or possibly a short notice into the UFC, but he's 4-0 and he's got a really good resume. He's won the WXC belt twice. He's beat Eric Shelton, who's a well-known name in the flyweight division. So definitely Juan Camilo. Montel Williams, another homegrown kid. He's an amazing talent as well. I believe he's hopefully fighting here during the summer. And then Ryder Newman, another young kid of ours. He's actually out training in Arizona, helping Eric Anders get ready for his fight.
Yep.
So I'd say those three guys, Miles Hunsinger as well. We have a number of guys that are outside of the major organizations that are just, man, giving people problems in the gym. Are super, super talented. So, definitely keep an eye on those guys.
Yeah, I like to hear. I love prospects. I'm all about prospects. So, the Contender Series and all that stuff, the small promotions, I try to tune in weekly for those. I want to see who's coming up, right? So
100%. And it's great. Like, those guys that you see, like those prospects that are coming up now, like it's fun watching those guys turn over. And now all of a sudden they're the Dan Iges of the world. He was an LFA, kind of a journeyman, not journeyman, but like, young up and comer, giving all these guys rounds and stuff like that. Now all of a sudden Dan Ige is the big fish, right? Ty Gorder, another good example. Ty Gorder was Brad Tavares' main training partner, Uriah Hall main training partner, and now he's in Bellator and he's doing work over there. So it's fun to watch kind of these guys turn it into the veterans that they are.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm going to throw one last one for you just because I'm Canadian. That fight was supposed to happen. It actually got pulled because of an injury. But Hakeem Dawodu, how do you think he would do against Shane Burgos if they end up making that fight again?
Man, that's a war. That's a great fight. I think when I watch that fight, the first thing that comes to my mind is going to be resiliency and who can withstand the most cardio, right? Who can keep that same pace. Burgos has been known to do so, but Burgos puts on wars. I think Hakeem carries a little bit of extra weight. I don't know if he has issues cutting weight at all. I'm not 100% sure, but I know he's got a lot of muscle on him. So, but I mean, man, that fight on paper was just was fight of the night, ready to happen. So, big fan of watching both of those guys, especially I get to see them quite a bit being in Dan's division. So yeah, I hope they rebook that fight. Actually, I think this would be a good scrap.
Yeah, so do I. I think Hakeem would have to have his best night to win, to be honest, but we'll see what happens. Just to finish off, any sponsors or shout outs or social media you wanted to address?
No, I mean, you can follow me on Instagram. It's at Eric_XCMMA. If you need to get a hold of me or see what we're doing over to Shin Couture, give me a follow and hit me up.
Awesome. We really appreciate your time. You got the 2020 Coach of the Year. So congrats to that. I'm hoping you're like the Tampa Bay Bucks of this year. So you'll get the award next year and Tampa can two-peat. How does that sound?
I love it. I hope so too, man. It's definitely a huge honor to be able to get that and bring that home for everybody. I don't win that award if we're losing fights. So the guys are the ones that are getting it done. So I appreciate it.
For sure. So good luck to you and all the guys you coach, your entire gym. I appreciate your time and hopefully we can catch up sometime in the future.
Thank you, Matthew. Thanks for having me on, man.
No problem. You take care. This is Hooks
in
MMA.
Talk to you soon.
Bye. Next up on the Hooks in MMA podcast, we're lucky to have 14-2 strawweight UFC fighter. She fights this Saturday against Amanda Lemos, and she's going to dominate her. Livinha, the Brazilian gangster, Souza. How's it going today?
Pretty good, guys. It's good to talk with you.
Yeah, thank you. So we chatted the last couple weeks, and you've made your your trip to Las Vegas before your fight here. Just wondering how you're feeling going into that matchup on Saturday.
Well, that's good travel, safe travel. In my city and my country have a lot of problems with this pandemics. Well, that's a chaos. We can't go to supermarket, and a lot of people have hungry. There's a chaos, bro. But I'm here. I'm just focused in Saturday. I've had a great battle Saturday. I focused on him.
Yeah, and so you were born in around Sao Paulo, Brazil, right? So just talk about growing up there. What kind of hobbies you had?
Well, the people they know, I always like internet games, online games, sports. And recently, I have a contract with organization of sports of Counter-Strike, Valorant, LoL, League of Legends, Tibia, and other streamers. When I can play games, I feel so great. I like so much to change the bullets with the guys. That's a nice hobby to spend the time.
Yes, you play like some video games like Counter-Strike?
Yeah, I play Counter-Strike like a few months ago. I tried to become professional, but with my time, I don't have time to do with the compromise with my team, and I quit. But now I'm a streamer on Twitch.
Yeah, so maybe after fighting later on, you can pursue that, right? Like we got a whole life of ourselves. So
yeah,
Yeah, hopefully you can do that. So yeah, just talk about which gym you're training out of and who are your coaches and for your corner this Saturday.
Sorry, repeat.
Sorry, just which gym are you training out of and who are your coaches?
Well, they call it the New Generation Muay Thai and Thai Fight. It's a great team of stand-up school.
Awesome. Yeah, so they'll be in your corner this Saturday. Right now you're the number 15 straw weight, which is
Yeah.
awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
If you get this big win on Saturday against Limos, this is going to put you in position for a top 10. So how do you feel about going into this weekend and the future that's very bright for you?
Well, I always say, I gonna do my things with step by step, fight by fight. Limos is a tough girl, but well, always every girl in UFC is a tough, but she's tough. She's a great athlete. I respect her, but Saturday's war, and I want to bring another victory to the books, and to scale, climb the mountain of the strawweights, 13, 12, to challenge another girl.
Yeah, and I fully expect that. You got a whole set of skills, and I can't wait to watch on Saturday. You unleash those skills. Earlier on, quickly, we were chatting about Jan Blachowicz. You ran into him. Who are some other people that you've ran into, and how was that experience?
I met Raya Faber, Cali Kid. He's a great guy, humble guy. I love him. I'm a huge fan. Since I was kid, I watching UFC. That's a dream to me meet him. In the last year in Sacramento, I meet him, meet all the guys of Alpha Male. That's a great team. I have the opportunity to visit the gym of the guys, and great people, great training, awesome guys. And I'm waiting for meet Adesanya. I'm great fan. Adesanya. I meet Glover Teixeira too. First time I saw Glover. Let me see. My English warning, guys. Let me know. Adesanya, I want to meet. Amanda, I don't see her, but in Fortaleza, 2019, I met him and Nina. Well, Hakit, I don't know that is the type of the pronounce, but
yeah,
I meet him. Yana Kunitskaya is a tough girl, flyweight too.
Yep.
Thiago Marreta too. There's a great guy, so much tough guy. I always root for him.
Yeah,
that's it.
Kunitskaya had a big win a few weeks ago, and
yeah, so bloody, the bloody fight, man. It's great fight.
And Glover Teixeira, maybe he might get the winner of Adesanya and Jan. That could happen too. So that'll be good. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. So yeah,
I hope so. Glover deserves.
He deserves it.
Glover deserves all, man.
Especially,
he's a cool guy. He's the coolest guy ever.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I hope he gets that chance because, as you saw today, probably Alistair Overeem and Junior Dos Santos both got cut from the UFC.
Yeah, I know. I knew it about it.
Yeah, so Teixeira's getting older. Let's hope he gets a chance to fight the winner of this one. I hope for that. Yeah, our last segment here. I'm going to ask you a question and you answer it as best as you can, okay?
Sorry?
I'm going to ask you a question and you answer it as best as you can.
Okay.
Okay. What's your favorite kind of food?
Well, I have a lot of foods, but pasta.
What's your favorite kind of sport if you can't pick MMA?
Counter-Strike Go, professional.
All right. What's your favorite country in the world, but you can't pick Brazil or USA?
Well, I can say USA? No,
you got to pick something else.
Well, let me see. Let me see.
Why don't you pick where I'm from?
Well, let me know. Lima, Peru. These are great people, humble people.
I was hoping you'd say Canada, but that's okay.
I don't visit Canada yet. I'm waiting for the invite.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. What's your favorite kind of music?
Rap.
Rap. Favorite movie? What's your favorite kind of movie?
Movie. Rock Balboa.
Yes, and your favorite kind of fighters that you looked up to as a kid. Favorite fighters.
Favorite fighters. I have really have three. Conor, Jose Aldo. Let me see. Marco Ruas.
Okay. So when you watched Conor and Jose, how did you feel about that? Since you like them both, but you're Brazilian.
So sad, devastated. Because I hold for Aldo. When side by side, Aldo and McGregor, I hold for Aldo. But with the end of the fight, I say, oh man, no.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a fight, Let's have one punch, finish, and don't make a match, man.
I know.
Done.
I know what you mean. So just to finish off here, who's gonna win on Saturday, and how's that gonna happen?
Well, I think I have a great knockdown of him, and I rear naked choke with the bonus of the night
Love it.
to help
50K.
my Brazilian brothers.
50K for Livinha Souza. 50K, right?
Rain of dollars.
Any sponsors, shout outs, or social media to finish up?
Well, I gonna say thank you to USA Hemp Brazil, Nike, Food HD, New Generation, Thai Fight, VX Store in Brazil. Let me know. The guys of the mayor of my city, Araraquara, São Paulo, has a great pandemics in there. It's not good situations, bro. When since 2 or 3 days, besides my travel, I need to move a neighbor city to buy some food because my family we have money, but we haven't market to buy things and have a hard situations, bro. Brazil is in a cause, and I'm very, very, very concerned about that.
Well, we feel for that too. So what I'm praying for, I'm going to cross both fingers Saturday night that you get a 50K bonus, because that'll really help you.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That'll help you. That'll help your family. And I'm going to cross my fingers for that for you. Okay.
Thank you, bro. I was here for you.
No problem. So thanks so much for coming on for Saturday night, UFC 259. We're looking forward to that win for you, the 50K bonus. Livinha Souza, this is Hooks in MMA. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, coach. Thank you all for watch. We see you. Bye-bye.
Let's get it.
Falling in and out of love, in and out of love with you. Falling in and out of love, in and out of love with you. Falling in and out of love, in and out of love with you. Falling in and out of love, yeah.